So the monthly reward card has been revealed, and we're going to do some first impressions and kind of talk about it. So without further ado, we'll dive right in. The monthly reward card is Protector of the Main. It is a Khajiit. It is a monk card, so it is class specific. It is willpower and agility. And it costs 5 magicka for a 4/4 body. But it has drain, it has guard, and whenever you gain health, it gets +1/+1. So immediate impressions are, well, there's a couple of things that just rise to the top of my head, right? It looks like this card is basically a natural fit in Control Monk. I think that it's good, not great. So if I compare it to the last class-specific monthly reward card that we got in Sower of Revenge, I think Sower is better than this. Certainly, Sower was better at making an underplayed archetype become more played and have more viability. I don't think that Control Monk is necessarily underplayed or not necessarily viable right now. The numbers have fallen off a bit recently because things have been shifting away from the greedier meta. But I still run into Control Monk, so this card isn't gonna like push it over the edge in my mind either. The important things to note: so the 4/4 body, okay, it dies to lightning bolt unless you have the proper setup, right? So if you have like a Bruma Profiteer in play, for example, this guy should enter play as a 5/5. He's gonna hit the board. When he enters play, that triggers Bruma. Since he's in play when Bruma triggers, then he triggers. So he should enter as a 5/5, at which point Lightning Bolt by itself doesn't kill it. They might have to commit a creature and a Lightning Bolt or a Piercing Javelin or something like that. I think that beyond Bruma, the Monk deck isn't going to have a lot of other ways to trigger it, I think is my biggest concern. So I think he's likely going to be run in the spot that you would either run Stronghold Eradicator or that you would normally run Knight of the Hour. And Knight of the Hour is another thing that could trigger this, but if you're running it in the same slot you would run that, then you're not running both. So again, that kind of just leaves the Bruma. Similarly, I think the same thing with like Pillaging Tribune, right? So Pillaging Tribune and this kind of compete for the same slot, so you're not going to use that to trigger it. I know myself, in the past, though I veered away from it, I ran a version of Monk at one time that was a little more proactive, and I was also running Dawnstar Healer. Dawnstar Healer, I feel like, could be a good card to combo with this, and if mid-range Monk were a thing, it's not a thing, not really, but if it were a thing, that might be a good spot or a good like combo synergy, right? You know, you have your Dawnstar in play, and then you play this guy, you swing, you get a couple of triggers. The problem with that though is that like usually you have other creatures on the board and then you play Dawnstar when you're going to crack the runes to get the immediate healing so people don't have time to respond. So even with Dawnstar Healer in that scenario, you're like playing Dawnstar Healer and then waiting a turn, or you're playing them both on the same turn, in which case you're already up to 8 magicka, and you should be trying to finish the game really as like a mid-range deck in that scenario. So, like I said, mid-range Monk isn't a thing. This is first impressions, this is mostly me thinking out loud, but I just don't think that there's enough synergy to make this guy be as strong as Sower. I still think he'll still see play. I think that the guard is important. I think the potential to drain is important. So if you do get that sweet spot where you've got a Bruma, you play him and he doesn't immediately die, he becomes a high priority target for your opponent to kill, because they can't really afford to let you drain. So in many ways he's like pseudo removal, at least against, I would say, aggro or mid-range, right? Like control decks aren't really going to care if you gain life. He could be for fun, so if you're thinking like cheeky meme decks, you with Spriggans and Werebats and Leafwater and all that stuff, like he could fit there. Obviously that might be fun, but in terms of like competitive viability, He most likely falls into Control Monk. He certainly has, in my opinion, good synergy with Bruma Profiteer. I think that the biggest hurdle for this card is that he is just competing with cards of the same cost. Like I said, the things that you would want to play to synergize with him to boost his attack and health are also 5 Magicka, also trying to do the same thing. Not that his body is insignificant, but if he dies to Lightning Bolt, you're giving up tempo if you're paying more than 4 and you're playing something that's going to die to Lightning Bolt, at least in the form of like Magicka tempo, which is important in the control game. Against aggro and mid-range, he's like a high priority target that they have to take out, or at least use a silence on or something. But I just feel like if you're playing this guy and you don't get the triggers, he's going to feel really lackluster. And if you do get the triggers, your deck is kind of competing with itself for card slots. So I would say this guy is good, not great. And I expect him to see play, but I don't expect him to revolutionize Monk. I don't expect him to suddenly make it like top tier, tier 1, like the go-to control deck again. Right now, I've been playing against Control Monks and I've been playing against Control Mages, but Control Mages, at least for me so far this season, have been far more prevalent. And I think right now the general consensus is that Control Mage just has a better matchup against like the rest of the field, whereas Control Monk might have, you know, a decent matchup against, you know, versions of Control Mage and other things. But yeah, like I said, good, not great. I don't think he's going to revolutionize anything. I do think he will see play. He might even see play a decent amount at the beginning of the month, like always happens, because people want to try out the new card. That's normal, that's natural, but I would say 4 or 5 days in, he'll be a flex spot in most Control Monks. That's kind of where I envision him right now. So yeah, Protector of the Main. As always, let me know what you think. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me why. You know, post some comments. Have a discussion. Keep it civil. I love you guys, and until next time, may you walk on warm sands.